Ever wondered what tempo runs are and how they can benefit your training? Well, let's unravel this together. Tempo runs, often shrouded in a fog of mystery, are a vital cog in the wheel of running training. They're the unsung heroes of the track, the silent partners in your race against time. They sit comfortably between your slow, long-distance runs and your fast, short-distance sprints, bridging the gap with a steady, rhythmic pace. Imagine you're a musician, and tempo runs are your metronome, setting the pace for your symphony of strides. You see, they're not just about speed, they're about rhythm, control, and endurance. They're about teaching your body to maintain a challenging pace over a prolonged period, pushing your limits while keeping fatigue at bay. So, are you intrigued yet? Curious about how this running secret weapon can boost your performance? Stay tuned if you want to learn how to incorporate tempo runs into your training routine. So, what exactly are tempo runs, you ask? Well, allow me to break it down for you. Tempo runs, also known as threshold runs, are a type of training technique used by runners to increase their speed and endurance. This is accomplished by running at a pace that is comfortably hard or at your lactate threshold. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth is a lactate threshold? It's the point at which lactic acid starts to accumulate in your muscles faster than it can be cleared away. When you're running at your lactate threshold, you're running at the fastest pace you can sustain without experiencing fatigue. To put it in simpler terms, imagine running at a pace where you can still hold a conversation but you'd rather not. That's your lactate threshold. It's a pace that's challenging but not impossible to maintain. This is the sweet spot where tempo runs take place. Performing a tempo run is like walking on a tightrope. You're balancing on the edge of comfort and discomfort. You're not sprinting, but you're not jogging either. It's a steady, controlled effort that's just hard enough to push your limits, but not so hard that you can't sustain it for the duration of your run. Tempo runs are usually performed over a set distance or time. The distance can vary depending on your fitness level and the goals of your training program. Some runners might do a tempo run for 20 to 40 minutes, while others might do a tempo run for several miles. So, why are tempo runs so important? Well, they train your body to use oxygen more efficiently, which can help you run faster and longer. They also help you develop mental toughness, as you're constantly pushing against your comfort zone. In essence, tempo runs are a key component of any serious runner's training program. They're the bridge between easy recovery runs and grueling speed work. They help you push your limits, improve your performance, and prepare your body for the demands of racing. Now that we know what tempo runs are, let's dive into how they can benefit your training. Tempo runs sound tough, don't they? But trust me, the benefits are worth it. You see, the first advantage of tempo runs is that they significantly improve your running economy. Now you might be wondering, what's running economy? Well, in simple terms, it's the amount of energy you use to maintain a certain pace. It's like fuel efficiency in a car. The better your running economy, the less energy you need to maintain or increase your speed. So with tempo runs, you're essentially training your body to become a more efficient running machine. Now let's talk about lactate threshold. This is the point at which lactic acid starts to accumulate in your muscles faster than it can be removed, causing fatigue. The higher your lactate threshold, the longer you can sustain a fast pace before fatigue sets in. And guess what? Tempo runs help increase this lactate threshold. By running at a pace that's just below your current lactate threshold, you're challenging your body to adapt and raise that threshold. It's like pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone, but for your muscles. Finally, we've got enhanced endurance. Tempo runs are longer than traditional speed workouts, typically lasting for about 20 to 40 minutes. This duration is long enough to challenge both your aerobic and anaerobic systems, leading to improved endurance. This means you'll not only be able to run faster, but you'll also be able to maintain that speed for a longer period. In essence, tempo runs make you a stronger, faster, and more efficient runner. They help you push past your limits and reach new levels of performance. They're not easy, but nothing worth having ever is, right? With such benefits, you might be wondering how to incorporate tempo runs into your training. Let's find out. Incorporating tempo runs into your training isn't as complex as you might think. First things first, let's talk about frequency. How often should you be doing tempo runs? Well, it largely depends on your current fitness level and the goals you've set for yourself. If you're a beginner, start with just one tempo run per week. This gives your body ample time to recover and adjust to the new intensity. For more experienced runners, 2 tempo runs a week can be beneficial. Now, on to duration. The length of your tempo run should be determined by your current fitness level and race goals. If you're training for a 5-kilometer race, for example, a 20 to 30-minute tempo run will suffice. If you're prepping for a marathon, your tempo run might last up to an hour. Remember, the aim isn't to exhaust yourself but to maintain a comfortably hard pace for a sustained period. Speaking of pace, let's talk about intensity. The tempo run is often described as a comfortably hard run. You should be running at a pace that is challenging but sustainable. To determine this pace, you can use a heart rate monitor. Your tempo run should be done at about 80 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. Alternatively, you can use the talk test. If you're able to speak in complete sentences, you're probably not running hard enough. But if you can only say a word or two between breaths, you're likely in the right zone. Now let's move on to some examples of tempo run workouts. One popular workout is the classic tempo run. After a warm-up, run at your tempo pace for a set duration, then cool down. Simple, right? Another option is the progression run, which starts at an easy pace and gradually increases to a tempo pace. This helps teach your body to shift gears and handle faster paces over time. For those seeking a bit more variety, consider the tempo intervals workout. This involves running at your tempo pace for a set amount of time, followed by a short recovery period, and repeating this cycle several times. This can be a great way to break up the monotony of a traditional tempo run while still reaping the benefits. And finally, the fartlek workout. This Swedish term translates to speed play, and involves mixing up your pace throughout the run. You might run at a tempo pace for 5 minutes, then slow down for 2 minutes, then speed up again. It's a fun and flexible way to incorporate tempo running into your training. Remember, the key is to start slow and gradually increase your tempo run workouts as your fitness improves. So lace up those running shoes, set those paces, and let's get to training. Let's quickly recap what we've learned about tempo runs. These runs, often shrouded in a cloud of mystery, are actually a runner's secret weapon. They're not as cryptic as they sound. Essentially, tempo runs are sustained efforts at a comfortably hard pace. They're the Goldilocks of running workouts, not too easy, not too hard, but just right. Tempo runs train your body to sustain speed over distance. They help increase your lactate threshold, the point at which fatigue sets in. By pushing this threshold further, you can run faster and longer before your legs start to feel like they're made of lead. But the benefits don't stop there. Tempo runs also improve your mental toughness. They teach you to keep going when the going gets tough. They help you break through mental barriers and push past physical limits. It's like a boot camp for your mind and body, but without the yelling sergeant. Now, how do you incorporate these runs into your training? Well, it's not rocket science. Start by determining your tempo pace, which is typically 85 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. Then, gradually, introduce tempo runs into your training routine. Begin with 20 minutes at your tempo pace and gradually increase the duration as your fitness improves. Remember, it's essential to warm up before a tempo run and cool down afterwards. And don't forget to listen to your body. If you're feeling worn out, it might be best to take a rest day. After all, it's better to miss one workout than to miss several weeks due to injury. That's the Skinny on Tempo runs. They're a fantastic tool to help you become a stronger, faster, and more resilient runner. So why not give them a try? You might just find that they're the missing piece in your training puzzle. That's it for today's video. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more running content. Until next time, keep running and stay healthy.